Chris here with another scheme to show you. It's based out of shotgun normal offset and without a custom can be found in Seattle and Philly's playbook. The plays I'm going to go over are inside zone, read option, HB counter, jet sweep, PA jet sweep, PA SE screen, and PA read. Not even going front, this whole scheme came together because I like to run in jet sweeps on people. But it got to the point where I needed another play, any play, so it wasn't obvious what play I was going to run when I came out in this formation. The more I looked into it, I was able to put together a nice enough offense that the jet sweep actually took a back seat to the other plays in this scheme. I'm going to start with the run plays and how they work off one another. Everyone knows the story. You get in the game, call your favorite 1 or 2 run plays, but you get stuffed. 1 or 2 things usually happens when you don't have a change-up pitch. You continue to run into a brick wall just hoping you break something, flip the play, flip the formation, whatever. Or you panic and just abandon the run altogether. Or maybe that guy's D was just set up to stop that run, but you can't stop everything at once. So he's exposed somewhere. You just have to show your run scheme that will get you through those drives where you have 3 carries for 2 yards and still finish with a nice day on the ground. But before running effectively on a consistent basis, you must know how each play works versus the looks you get from the D. Or else you can get stuffed each time and wonder why you're averaging 0 point whatever yards a carry. I'm not a miracle worker now, so if you have an O-lineman who can't block, don't be shocked if Mr. 70 rated D tackle is blowing your play up. Let's get started. Important to note, you're always going to have 6 blockers. And your goal is to never have an unaccounted for defender in the box at the time of the snap. Which means you want 6 or fewer defenders for your guys to take care of. It eliminates any free hits on your running back from a guy who was just chilling up front waiting to tee off on you. And just leaves it up to you and the O-line to execute. This, and this are the fronts you will see running this formation. They can be arranged any way your opponent chooses but will still fall into these 3 categories. For this scheme, the base run, aka the run all the others will revolve around, is inside zone. To me, it's the most consistent and also will be easier for me to show you the difference of each run based off of this. Versus 6-man fronts, as I said before, is the look we want. Each block will have a defender to take care of and it's up to you to find the hole and the O-line to hold their blocks. And if both happens, it's a consistent 45 yards every time. Versus 7-man front, since again we have 6 blockers, there's going to be a free defender roaming somewhere. You just have to know who it is. Sometimes the D will volunteer who the 7 defender is. Other times the play will dictate who it is for you. Running inside zone, the play will leave the backside guy, could be a guy on the line, a linebacker, or a DB free. So you have 6 versus 6 up the middle. So again, they have no unblocked defenders unaccounted for because inside zone left the 7th guy unblocked on purpose. Next is read option. Every scheme I do that has inside zone in it, I always pair it with read option. 1, because it is inside zone with an option element to it, and 2, because I like running with my quarterback. So I get the strengths of both in one play. I like to use this the first play of the game a lot to see if my opponent is playing a quarterback, and if they weren't, make them worry I might break out the back every time after, even if I just run inside zone the rest of the game. Unlike inside zone, this starts leaving defenders unblocked versus 6-man fronts, and the quarterback is reading that defender instead of simply ignoring him on purpose. The play hinges on his choice. If he stays fine, you're still running the base run play of the offense, the inside zone. But when he crashes is when big plays can potentially happen with your quarterback on the move. Obviously, read option can also be run as a base play, but note that if you run too much, guys will get hip and bait you to keep it with your quarterback to try and knock you out. Next is HB counter. This and inside zone and hell, even read option go nicely together as they all have the same starting motion. The only difference is the plays aim to go outside the tight end instead of up the middle, so you can catch your opponent guessing sometimes by going too wide or crashing down on the wrong play. So versus 6-man fronts, all that's different is the direction of the run, but versus 7, the unblocked defender will come from the left this time as the blockers even up the numbers to the right, the play's direction. And lastly, my favorite run, the jet sweep. All this does is turn the running back into another blocker, and the slot receiver comes from left field to be the ball carrier. To get a better example, think of it as a regular stretch play out of I form, but the ball carrier comes from the side. Besides being good versus 6 and 7-man in the box, this is the only run that can work versus 8-man boxes from a strictly numbers perspective. Since the play is designed to go right, just like the counter would leave a guy on the left unblocked, and since you would then now have 7 blockers, it would turn into 7 blockers versus 7 defenders. Running against 8-man boxes with the other plays will be harder, but instead of panicking, I'll show you some pass plays to stop them from loading the box and beat them when they do. With jet sweep having such an obvious tell as to what play is about to be run, I would get dudes straight up haul ass and to beat me to the corner, so I needed another play with at least the same motion to keep them honest. And that play is PA jet sweep. This was the first play I added to what I thought was my jet sweep offense at the time. Purpose of it is to have the pass play go the opposite direction of the jet sweep, so when they think they know what's coming and overcommit, they're out of the play. Your hot routes are going to be the slant A, put X on a comeback, and RB on the left flat, so there's enough space between him and the tight end. Your reads will start with the running back on the flat. Versus man, he's mainly a decoy unless his defender gets lost in traffic. Your next read will be A on that slant. All depends on if he's in front of his defender or not. Sometimes the motion wide receiver's defender and the tight end's guy will switch after the snap, leaving a slot wide receiver's defender already in front of the tight end, ready to intercept it. If the tight end gets inside position, you lead pass to the left out of the reach of the defender for the catch. Next read is X on a comeback route. By the time you're done with your first two reads, he should almost be ready to make his break. That's when you want to lead it to the sidelines away from the corner. Next is the post by B, who should have beaten his defender inside already. A simple bullet pass should do the trick. Versus zone, again, your first read is RB. If you notice the defenders aren't as close to him as they should be due to the other routes, prime example being a zone blitz or a cover two corner who drops back too far, you dump it off to him for the easy yards. Next read is A on a slant. Since he's on a slant, he will pass through different zones, and you can actually pass the ball to him for a quick pass as he passes through those zones. If he's covered, you move on to X on a comeback. With the RB and A routes being covered, they sort of wall off any other defenders entering that area to undercut the comeback, as their routes are more immediate. So it becomes you in the corner. Notice the space he has to work with. As soon as he starts to break outside, you bullet a lead pass to the sideline. Next is B on the post, who usually is cover versus zone as there is no other routes in his area to distract him. But some zones do have holes big enough to fit the ball into. And lastly, the slot receiver's route, which actually converts to a wheel off of the play action. While B doesn't benefit from any routes opening him up, he pulls the coverage away from Y for an easy 5-yard dump off as your last read. Next play I'm going to show you will be PASE screen. The play's sole purpose is to keep the slot defender honest. If he's off coverage, he has no shot to sprint on a dime to the outside to stop the slot guy from blocking X's defender out of the play, leaving him open to pick up yards. Or if the slot receiver has no one over him pre-snap, good chances in the 8-man box. And we know you'll have trouble running on that. PASE screen is one of the quickest ways to get your opponent to stop loading the box and shift it back to a more favorable run look by having to remove a guy from the box to honor the threat of a screen to the outside. And the last play of the scheme will be PA read. This is the play I definitely use the most from the scheme because of the left side receiver's routes. You're going to high route A on the slant and remove the play action from RB by putting him on a flat route. The reads will start with the tight end, which is A. Versus man, again, same rules apply as the other play. Make sure the tight end gets outside position on whoever is guarding him before you throw it. Then you lead pass to the left to prevent the defender from playing the ball. Your next read will be X on the deep end route. He's going to make a sharp cut inside, automatically getting inside position on the corner. So this is when you want to lead pass to the right to let him have enough space. Your next read is Y on the drag route. I like this drag route because unlike the ones we've known for years, he gets up the field a good bit before dragging across the field. Once he makes his cut, you lead pass to the right. Last read is the comeback by B. You want to lead it to the sidelines right before he makes his cut, preventing the corner time to make a play on it. Versus zone, first read is A. And you want to try to quick pass it to him as he runs between the zones by pass leading down. As it slows him down, it sort of forces him to come forward to catch it, making it that much harder to jump it for the defense. Don't force it though, as it has to be a more obvious throw than anything. Your next read is X, who will benefit from A and Y creating a gap in the zone coverage as the linebackers sort of spread apart in opposite directions following each underneath the receiver. You want to bullet pass it down so the wide receiver can slow down and settle into the space in the zone, because if you don't, he'll keep running and this will happen. Next read is Y on the drag route, who like A, if the gaps in the zone are big enough, you can deliver him the ball by pass leading towards the ground. And due to no other routes near him for the defense, he usually is covered though. Next read is B on the comeback, who just like the comeback by X and PA jet sweep, benefits from the two routes near him walling off any other defenders isolating him on the corner, where you lead to the sidelines once he breaks outside. And last read will be RB on the flat, who as a dump off serves as a zone blitz beater, and since he creates a high-low read with the comeback on any flat defender, if the comeback is covered, he usually is not. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed the scheme and learned something new you can add to your offense. Leave a comment to let me know if you're having any results. Alright guys, be good.